Hey everyone, how's it going? Hopefully you all have a wonderful day. So in a few videos of mine, I'm showing you how I stitch while keeping my threads up. While I work on a new color, and a few of you has asked me why I did that and how it works. So in this video, I want to explain the technique that I'm using and give you a step-by-step for you to follow. So what I've been doing in my videos is called parking. And in comparison to cross country, which is you pick a color, you stitch the area of that color entirely, you go to the next one and you just continue until your thread is too small and you end it. With parking, you focus on an area on the canvas and you pick a color on that area, you fill that area in with that particular color and then park it above or to the side for you to come back later. And it's basically like how you park your car to do groceries to come back later to use your car again. I like to use parking in areas with heavy confetti, so I won't get too overwhelmed by all the single stitches or small color patches, and I can focus on those small areas and finish the areas row by row. Now I will show you how I stitch using parking. I first will select an area that I want to stitch. So it can be 10 by 10, can be 10 by 20, or even 20 by 20. You can make it as big or small how you like. And normally I stitch 10 by 20, which is called a tower in the Royal Rose version. But for simplicity, I will stick by a 10 by 10 square. I like to work from the bottom to the top. So we'll start with the bottom left corner of the square. So I have my square here selected and I will work from there. So first off, I will see what color I need to stitch, and this is number 4. So I have my color now selected and I will fill in this square until all the color is filled. Now, once I have all the colors filled inside the square, I will see in the square above to the closest repeating square of this color. And I like to call this area above the attic. However, in this square, I don't see the number 4 recurring. So what I will do then is you will look to the square next to it and see if there is a square recurring, and there is a lot of colors of the number 4 recurring, so I will just park it right there. Now the placement of your parked thread is important. You have to park it correctly or else you will be confused as to where the next stitch will be. So I stitch from top right to bottom left, from top left to bottom right, and to start my stitch I always start in the top right. I have to park my thread in the top right again so that I can, when I make the next stitch, go back to the bottom left. So depending on how you start your stitches is where you will need to park your thread in the next upcoming stitch. Now we'll leave this one here, we'll park it right here because we will come to this color later. And we will go back to our current square and see which is the next color that is recurring. So I can see this one, it was number 30 I mean. Now this color is recurring in the attic above, so I will take the thread and I will park it right there. So now that we have this one parked right in the attic above, we will continue on with the next color. Now if you have a color that is not in the attic above and not in the square next to it, you will end the thread. So we're done now. We have filled in this entire square. We have parked the threads up top. We have parked threads to the side. And this section we will leave now. We will move over to the next section. This is now the old attic. And this is the new attic. This is now the current square. And this will be the new square that we will park in when there's not for the attic. So first off, we're going to pick up these parked threads. We will move them down. And we will fill in this square with the color of the parked threads. So we will start with the first one, which is the most top, since the bottom ones, the top color means that the color would not be underneath here, so I won't have any problems with these threads just yet. So if I move from top to bottom, I will not be in conflict with any of these. And we're doing now the same thing as what we did with this square. We will see, is the color recurring in this area? For this one it is not, so we're looking at the next one over and we can see that the color is indeed recurring in here. So let me just park it right here. So now we have all the colors done from the parks threads that we have done over here. We can basically start on the first step, what we did in this square, and apply it to this square and fill it up. And that is how you would continue on with row by row by row. So now we have this squared finish as well. So now you can just continue on doing one square by the next square by the next square until you have finished the entire row of the canvas, or where you just like to stop. And from there, when you have done the last, you can go the square up. So you pick the first square again, you take the threads from that square from the top, and you basically do the same thing as what we did in the second one. First stitch the parked threads and then continue on with filling the entire square. And that is basically how parking works and how I use the parking. Now I can understand that some of you might have concerned about having enough floss, or that you not waste too much floss. And I have to say that yes, parking does take more floss than cross country, due to the fact that you have to carry threads longer distances and you have a bit more waste than by parking or by cross country. However, this is the floss that I got from the kit for the pumpkin and birds. And with every kit that I have finished so far, I keep quite a bit left over. So this is the floss that I have left over from the butterfly, since I have finished the butterfly off camera. I need to make new videos out of it, but this is just floss that I have left over from the butterfly. And they're still full string, like full 6 on floss strings over here. So I don't really think you should be too concerned about not having enough floss, since every kit gives you more floss than necessary. So I stitch from the bottom to the top. However, you can use the same technique if you stitch from the top to the bottom. You just have to park it differently. Park it where the next, like how you start your next stitch. And instead of putting the threads in the attic, you will put it into the dungeon or the basement, however you like to call it. And then when you start on with the new threads, like the parked threads in a new square, instead of like getting the top over here, you will basically pick out the bottom, since it is the other direction. I hope this video was clear and easy to understand on how parking works and how I use it. I hope this will help you find your own preferred stitching method, and if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you're looking for high quality stitch kits for both bigger and smaller kits, you can check out Painting Fairy Cross Stitch website for the huge collection of different kits. And if you use my discount code of STITCHINGBEAR, that is full capital letters STITCHINGBEAR, you will get a 5% discount on your next purchase. I wish you all a happy day stitching, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye bye!